This is Resolute and the Resolute Podcast, where we are discipling and developing men to live with conviction. I am Vince Miller, your host, and today we are discussing how to love your wife. Men, welcome back to the program. If this is your first time tuning in, well, thank you for joining us. The Resolute Podcast is produced multiple times every week. We have Resolute study guides that go along with this podcast for your men's group, found on the website for members at beresolute.org. Come back often. Feel free to add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or in iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. All the links are on the homepage of the website. So let's dive in. So, gentlemen, welcome to the Valentine's Day podcast on how to love your wife. Guys out there, if you are single, then you need to not dismiss this podcast. I promise it will be beneficial for you. And by the way, we can definitely learn from the failings of husbands like me who have made mistakes over the years, and I promise it will benefit you to listen all the way through so that you can avoid the same mistakes that I have made in my marriage. Because I'll tell you firsthand, I am not perfect. So today, guys, we're going to be looking at Ephesians chapter 5, beginning in verse 25. Actually, as we listen to a single guy give us advice, the Apostle Paul is going to give us great wisdom on what it looks like for husbands to love their wives. Let's read together Ephesians 5, verse 25. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Now, did you catch that? I don't know if you did or not, but that's a simile. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of the water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. Man, I love the imagery here. I think it's incredibly beautiful. And I just really want to make one point today for us, guys. One point, one principle on how to love your wife. Here's the principle. Listen carefully. Love your wife in the way that she needs to be loved. Love your wife in the way that she needs to be loved. Guys, I've been married for approximately 21 years, and it's been an incredible 21 years. I'm married to one of the greatest women I could ever meet. I love her to death. But I got to tell you, when I got married, I was a very selfish person, very independent, was living life really on my own. And because I didn't grow up in a family that had any sort of deep connectedness, I had to learn a lot of hard lessons about how to love my wife. I'll never forget the moment that me and my wife bought that book, The 5 Love Languages by Gary Smalley. I got to tell you, that was one of those moments that was a major learning experience for me in our marriage. I got into the book and realized that we were going to have to take an assessment. I took the assessment. She took it as well. And essentially what Gary does is he helps couples understand their primary love language, the way that they love to give and receive love. And for me, this was not a huge learning for myself, but it was a huge learning for me in my relationship with my wife. I took the assessment, and of course, I discovered that my love language, no surprise, was words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. That was my predominant love language. Now, guys, I got to let you know, if you want to tell me you love me, you just encourage me. Give me some sort of pat on the back. Tell me I'm doing a good job. Say, hey, Vince, you're killing it. All that stuff just speaks to me. In fact, just saying it back to myself is pretty powerful, right? Because that's my love language. Well, after I had finished my assessment, I then listened to what my wife's love language was, and she said hers was quality time, which means that she likes to spend a lot of time with people, and that fills her love banks. Now, I want to confess right now that early in my marriage, I was discouraged to hear that. Now, And it was predominantly for selfish reasons I thought that. Because I felt that my love language was simple and hers was hard. And to be quite honest with you, these thoughts that entered my mind about her love language deeply disturbed me. And I'm ashamed to admit it, because essentially I'm turning away the beauty of my wife's love. I came to discover that she loves me so much that she wants to spend more time with me because she's in love with me. And when I came to understand that, I had to undo some old bad habits and bad patterns that had built up in my life over years. You see, my family life when I was growing up was very disengaged from one another, and I lived very independent from them even before I married my wife. And so I would have to learn a new love language in my life, and that was quality time. And this was hard for me. But I got to tell you, the powerful lesson that I learned over really many years was that I don't need to love my wife in the way that I want to love her, but I need to love my wife in the way that she needs to be loved. And the way that my wife needs to be loved is through an experience of quality time, simply by sitting in her presence, looking at her, giving her all of me, enjoying conversation with her. This is how she receives love from me. And when I do that, well, there are benefits to that. And I don't do it for the benefits, right? I do it because I love her. You know what's so ingenious about this? This is exactly what Paul is teaching us in Ephesians 5. He's teaching us that Christ loved the church in the way that the church needed to be loved. He loved her in a sacrificial way because he knew that she was dirty, she was without splendor, she was spotted, wrinkled, unholy, blemished. And what did Jesus Christ do? Jesus Christ loved the church in the way that she needed to be loved so that he could have a relationship with the church. Now, the beauty that Paul sees here in these words is the simple fact of this single principle. Love your wife in the way that she needs to be loved. And you know the way that your wife needs to be loved? She needs to be loved sacrificially. She needs to be loved, gentlemen, sacrificially. So here's my challenge to you on Valentine's Day. Just take this and try it. Over Valentine's Day or this weekend as you listen to this message, I want you to turn to your wife. I want you to put the cell phone away. I want you to turn off the TV. And I want you to give all of you to all of her. I want you to listen to her. I want you to look her in the eyes. I want you to love her. I want you to do whatever she needs you to do, and I want you to love her in the way that she needs to be loved. Not love her the way that you want to love her. Love her in the way that she needs to be loved. Well, gentlemen, that's the show. Thanks for listening. You know, if you enjoyed our time today, we hope that you will pass this podcast along to other men who need to love their wives a little better. Just head to our website, beresolute.org, for the Resolute app, or you can just simply share this feed with them. Men, as always, I want to encourage you to find a couple of other men to join with you. Listening on your own is great, but finding other men to join in with you is always better. And we can hold each other accountable, and we can encourage one another, and we can learn to love each other as well. So guys, get off the bench, get into the game, and please join in next time for another edition of the Resolute Podcast.